Good evening. This is kind of an update report on the Youth Scholarship Program. This was reported to the Public Works Administrative Committee last week, and it was felt that it needed further review by the council and
Public Works Finance.
What did I say? I'm sorry.
Public Works Administration, Public Works Finance Committee.
Public Works Finance Committee. That's right. And so anyway, here we are to go over this again and see what you want to do about it, if anything. Just a quick review, the present policy. There's no proof required, no proof of need. Parent or caregiver requests a scholarship. There's no city residence condition and no limits condition on the amount of funding. The changes that were passed by the council for fiscal year 14, we still had the no proof needed for need. The parent caregiver requests the scholarships, no city residence. The new stuff is a limit of 200 per person, 500 per family, and a program cap of 18,000 with the additional donation solicitation tagline to be put on our registration, our online registration, and in our budget process to fully cover the expense revenues. We're basically experiencing kind of a tidal wave, if you might say, and I thought it was enough of an anomaly that I thought you guys needed to see this. I had the cutoff of April 30th just to, I had to have a point somewhere. As you can see, in 2012, we were just under 3,000. This year, just under 12,000. A breakdown of the primary uses of the scholarship. You can see in 2012, and then on the bottom right, where the present fiscal year, you can see the majority is on the camps, where last year it was about a third, little more than a third. This part I thought was kind of interesting. This is just on our camps, and this was as of April 30th as well. The just under 10,000 is what's through scholarships, and just over 4,000 is what was actually paid in cash to the program. And so it just kind of puts it in perspective. Some final notes. Of course, this is still within the present policy, but it is an anomaly compared to the past. Thought you needed to see this, and the staff will continue to monitor it and report as necessary. With that, I had April 30th as the cutoff, but the tidal wave is continuing, and even since I reported this to the Public Works Finance Committee. And so I thought, well, I just cut this off as of this last Friday and thought I would show you where we're at now. And so the overall total scholarships is just 16,725, which is an increase of almost 5,000 since April 30th. On camps, an increase of almost 3,000. Pools and pool passes and swim lessons, things like that. It was hardly anything when we met last week, but now we're up to almost $1,000 in pool passes and a little over 1,000 in swim lessons and lifeguard training. The pool, and something I just missed today. I meant to go over what we had last year for an overall pool pass, so I could show you what we would still anticipate still coming. But I didn't. The rest of that was through April 30th, and what I gave to the Public Works Finance Committee, I gave them this same slide, except it was as of April 30th. So I updated that so you could see where we're at with families versus individuals with resident, non-resident. that a question, Dan?
Yeah, Madam Mayor.
Yes, Dan.
Dwight, are you, when you break down the costs, currently a non-resident pays more to use whatever program than a resident? Now, is that part of the cost there?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, so that's kind of a artificial inflation then, just the fact that it is a resident, but how much difference is it for a
It's
resident?
usually $1,
So not a lot, so, okay.
just $1.
Okay. And one of the things I wanted to ask, and I think you talked to Walter about it earlier today, were there any, we go back to our policy, were there any recommendations regarding this program from the commission that we didn't adopt as council?
I just happen to have a slide on that.
Thank you.
I went back to the 2011, and the only exception there that was not passed was the calculating or leaving out the pool pass
passes,
costs and just counting the hard costs. And then when we brought the policy back in October, they recommended no changes.
Okay.
But we were asked to go back and look at it again. And of course, they brought back the pool pass methodology.
The Damon factor.
The Damon factor, yes. Restrict scholarship eligibility to City of Moscow residents only, and the rest is what's already in the program.
Okay. I mean, I can see, Walter kind of said, I don't want to say like Walter, I don't think we're drunken sailors, but we are victims of our own generosity here, I think. And
That's a better way to say it.
yeah. And, and again, like we visited earlier today, the more we talk about it, the more it's out there that we're doing it, so it makes it more, it puts it more in use, I guess. I think we're victims of our honesty about it as well. Right now, if we would have adopted the restricting the scholarship eligibility to the City of Moscow residents, we'd basically cut the costs in half right now, and maybe even a little more. If looking back to that, a little more than half would be saved with that. So, I mean, I don't know what to do about it, because I don't want any kid to not be able to do something, but I just have a gut feeling that there are abuses in this program right now, and I'll leave it at that for now. Continue discussion, I guess.
And so are you opening up the discussion,
Yeah,
some conversation about demonstration of proof of eligibility?
If that's something, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, I don't want to put. It's hard to put people on the spot as well, but we're going to have to come up with something at some point, or we're just not going to be able to afford to do it at all.
Dwight, you had something else to
Yes, before we get into the major discussion, I just had one last slide to show, if I could.
Please.
We did, of course, we had our $3,000 in the general budget. I believe it was just today. The Chinook Masters, I don't know if I got the title here correct, Tom, sorry.
Pretty close.
The swim club donated $1,000 towards swim lessons.
Oh, good.
And of course, like I showed you before, we were just over $1,000 in swim lessons in scholarship. So already. So, and then Mr. Hoydal donated $25 toward the program, and we were really thankful for that as well. And we do have other opportunities coming up, but they're later in the summer.
Okay.
So, and that was it.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, before you
Yes, Walter.
recognize Wayne, I know he had his hand up, but if I can just make a comment, just to make sure the public understands and the council remembers, and I'm sure the council does. We budget $3,000 for this program, and then we have a policy currently of we will cover the cost of it after the fact from some source that finance and the city supervisor find. There are no limits on who or how much at all in place until October 1 of 2013, when the FY14 policies that we adopted back in February go into effect. So right now, drunken sailors or not, the barn door is open. Thank you.
Wayne?
Well, and Walter brought up a good point, and that is that the policy changes that we actually made are going to be for fiscal year 14, which I think are going to address this problem because it makes it a $500 limit per family, $200 per individual, with an $18,000 cap. It almost looks like we should have done that for fiscal year 13, but we decided to take it one more year. Not to say that we can't put a cap on it for this year, and I seriously think that we need to discuss putting a cap on it. I don't think we could. Well, we've already set a precedent as far as allowing no dollar limit per family or individual. I don't think we can change that this year. I don't think that would be right, but I think we can cap it, and I think it's going to be necessary because this is liable this is not a tidal wave, this is tsunami.
Sue, were you chairing the Public Works Finance Committee the day this was discussed?
No.
Was that you?
I'm
That was
admin.
you, okay. Something to add from that meeting that we haven't talked about yet?
Just that the committee's recommendation, or direction rather, to staff was slightly different from that in the CCSR. We did ask that this be brought to the full council for discussion, that Dwight make a report, and also requested that should staff have a recommendation regarding the situation, that they bring that to us at this time as well. The $18,000 cap that's in the CCSR was not a recommendation of the three members of the Public Works Finance Committee. It is a recommend.
Yes, thank you.
Is it a recommendation of staff or just a thought, or?
Yeah, it's something that Dwight and his staff are promoting, and it was incorrectly put in the agenda item. It is not a recommendation of the committee. It was a recommendation from staff as invited.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tim?
Thank you. There was an effort, I think perhaps mostly by me, that didn't make it to the slide on the proposals that went to commission, that each participant in the scholarship program be asked to own part of it. In other words, to make a payment, although they're getting a scholarship, to make a contribution of, say, 20%. That didn't make it, and unfortunate, at least from my point of view, it did not. I agree with Wayne. I'll be more than willing to talk about a cap this year, tonight. And I think for the 2014 year, we ought to take a look at limiting the amount of money that gets spent on the camps. It seems like this year the camps are where a majority of the scholarship dollars are going, and even though next year it's 200 individual, 500 family, I think Parks and Rec ought to take a look at how to limit the cost of these camps, and if that means asking a participant to come up with 20% or some number, as I wanted last year, I'll support that again this year.
Dwight, is it not so that staff always asks people if they can pay something toward these?
Yes, we ask.
I mean, make it part of the program.
Yeah, we always ask if
Not
they can
ask.
pay half. And,